know whether or not the work you put in was worth it. Ever catch yourself wondering how it's playing out? Do you fold in those moments?
Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Alisha, the podcast. Here is season 2. I have Karina back here with me. A lot has changed since last season. I had a baby, just a lot.
She did the mother thing.
Yes, we're just gonna get into it, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna do a recap, guys. The last time y'all see me was when Alisha was pregnant with her second baby. And yes, we can imagine a lot has changed. So we're gonna give you guys a recap, and yeah, let's get into it. First, how are you?
You know what's so funny? I didn't think I was gonna make it here today because last night was so rough. So I'm on the, when you say how are you, I feel like I'm on I'm good until I take a step, like when I'm by myself and I'm like, how did I do all that? How am I doing this? How is this even possible? How do people do more than 2 kids?
Right.
I don't even know how you do kids at all, and I got 2. And it's just I'm okay. And then Jarrell is gone right now. But my mom lives with me, so I have I'm not solo parenting completely at all. But I do miss that we're so much of a team. And I can tell Gabriella notices the change. And and I realize sometimes dads don't get enough credit. And I see now even the things that I may have not noticed while he was here that he does. I mean, there's so much. I definitely cannot do it without him. And I know he feels like he doesn't do a lot, but he does so much compared to him not being here. So I'm okay. We're moving forward.
You're moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah. You make it look easy.
Ooh.
She looks great. Am I right or am I right? But good. So what would you say? Well, one, how are you adjusting to not going from 1 kid to 2? How is Gabriella adjusting?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I feel so I'm adjusting. I'm still adjusting. I saw this thing saying you are learning how to parent with your first kid, and then you're parenting the second. But I have them so close, so I feel I'm still learning how to parent, especially with Gabriella being 2.5 and having big emotions and knowing how to communicate. She talks so much. So it's I'm trying to do that. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm providing her with the best tools
and support.
Yeah, and and I feel she's okay with with having a baby around. I think at nighttime it's hard for her because I'm feeding him and stuff, and she's hold me, what are you doing? But I think we're on the upper side of that. And for me, I think the postpartum part was hard. It's still hard for me. And I'm more so adjusting to the trauma of going back into the hospital after I had the baby and being away from him. I almost felt we weren't able to bond, and we were.
Yeah.
But because I was not around him for 5 days at the beginning, I can see how if a woman is in the hospital for a long time, I can't imagine what that's like. And honestly, I can't even imagine what Jarrell is feeling right now, being away for a month now.
Yeah.
I wonder how he feels, because I mean, I know he expresses it, but how you really feel inside, you miss your kids so much, and you can't you bond with them the same, or you feel you're missing time.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I feel I've heard the term mom guilt. Do you think he experiences that guilt?
Him, yes. And I think, and I can tell him oh, you're sacrificing for us, and make it sound good, but why? I don't want to, you can take it as I don't want to do that. Just as moms who are working, you're providing for your family and stuff, but you still have that guilt. I want to spend time with my kids. You know what I mean? So I don't think I could say anything that could make him feel no guilt at all. And then kids you really don't know what kids see. You don't know how they see things, and you don't know, even if I tell Gabriella, I can't hold you right now, that to her, it could mean nothing, or it could mean everything.
Right.
She literally just told me she can't hold me.
Yeah, what is this?
This is
yeah.
So it's just I think trying to navigate that is just it's also tough because you realize that they're human, but you also try not to be sometimes I think we think kids like we just think like they're just like us, like the emotional maturity that we have or the emotions that we have, like we think that they're so emotional when I think sometimes they're actually not as, like if I tell her no to something, I might be like, dang, like that might really hurt feelings, but really she on to the next thing. You know what I mean? So it's just like trying to take a little bit of the emotions out too, like just like try to be like, I don't know, be more realistic too and not be so emotional is what I'm trying to work on.
So with that said, do you think there are certain scenarios where you're trying to look at her as human versus like just like your kid, right? Because y'all have that bond, like that's your child.
Yeah. I feel like I do in a sense of like, we're trying to decide if we would put Gabriella in school in Japan.
Okay.
We're going to Japan. And
News.
Gabriella is not a bad child, and I don't like that term anyways.
Right, yeah.
But I know what my child needs, right? And I'm scared that she's not going to be able to communicate that, and that she's going to be like judged for it. But also then I feel like I'm looking at her as a child in that way. But if I look at her as a human, all kids are basically like that.
That's
so
true.
it's not like that she's one of one, that she's like, that nobody's gonna know how to communicate with her, like she's gonna be struggling and stuff like that in the classroom. Like, realistically speaking, a teacher probably has had one of Gabriella's in their classroom before. So if I look at her as more of a human, it's like, this isn't the end of the world, whatever phase we're going through right now, because other kids have went through this phase too. You know what I mean? So I feel like when I think of her as just my child, I do think like, oh my gosh, like she's so sad, like she's not happy, when I think that's me putting my emotion and like my fears in her when she might be totally fine.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. How would you say your second pregnancy was different from your first?
My second pregnancy was different because I knew what to expect, but at the same time, it was different. So that was really annoying. Like, I feel like I knew that I was gonna go into labor early. Like, I just knew that. But I didn't. I went a day over my due date.
Is that how you went with Gabriella?
Yeah, Gabriella was 4 weeks early. So I hadn't been that pregnant before either. So that part was hard.
That's new. Yeah.
Yeah. There's new things that come those last weeks too.
Yeah.
That I didn't know about. And then labor and delivery was fine. Like, I went to the hospital at like 4 a.m. and then I started pushing at 1 p.m. and like I was totally fine. But then I had got a catheter because I had got an epidural. And so when you get a catheter, you're more than likely to get a UTI. And I have never had a UTI before. So postpartum, I started having like shakes and shivers and fever postpartum. And I like this is different from Gabriella, because with Gabriella, I literally just had a baby and I was good.
Done. Yeah.
And that's how I felt with Ace too. Like, I felt like I had the baby, I was fine. But then I started getting these random shakes and shivers, and I was calling my OB, and they were telling me like, you're fine. Like, they thought I had mastitis, which is when you're nursing, you can get like milk gets stuck, basically plain terms, milk can get stuck, and you can get like you can get really, really sick from it. So they kept just telling me to empty my breast, blah blah blah, gave me antibiotics, but I kept getting worse. And I kept calling them like, something's not right. And then they just like, you're fine, you're fine.
Yeah.
So then I think day 5, I like, my legs gave out in the shower, because I would get into the shower. I know.
It's a lot.
So basically every time I would get the shakes and shivers, I would hop in the shower.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that was the only thing that was calming me down. And then the last time it happened, before I went to the hospital, my legs gave out in the shower, and I was like, Jarrell, like, help me up. I was, crying and stuff. And Jarrell was like, we're going to the hospital. And I'm like, okay. Like, I couldn't move. Like, I couldn't move. I couldn't think. Like, I mean, and before that, every time I would have the shakes and shivers and stuff, I wouldn't let Gabriella see me doing that. So if I could literally feel it coming on, like I'm about to shake, so I would just like go upstairs and like tell them not to let Gabriella see me.
Yeah.
And but then that time, my mother-in-law was there, my sister-in-law was there, Gabriella was there. I told my mom while I was in the shower, I was like, can you please go get me like some Powerade and like stuff, because I didn't know, didn't know what was wrong. I'm trying to basically give myself medicine, whatever.
Right.
And so my mom was at the store, and I'm trying to get down the stairs to go to the hospital, and I can't. Like, my legs are giving out, so everybody's trying to help me. And so then Gabriella's crying, like, mommy, like, all this type of stuff. And then I can't. I'm trying to get in the car. We got in the car eventually. And the hospital is maybe 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But on the way there, like, I'm throwing up, and I hadn't had any of that. So once I got to the hospital, I knew I was dying. Like, I just knew, like, I am dying. Like, what is this? Like, so once they hooked me up to the machines and stuff, my heart rate was at a 180. So for reference, when I left the hospital, I was discharged, my heart rate was at a 45. So when I got into the hospital, my heart rate was 180.
Wow, okay.
And so I'm just like, and I'm now, and also I lost my dad when I was really young. So I'm thinking about all these things, like, and Jarrell is there, and I'm like, Jarrell's watching me die right now. Like, it just was like so intense, and like so many doctors all on me, and I'm just like, am I dying? Like, I'm like, is this preeclampsia? Like, I'm like thinking of all the things, and like I was thinking about like when I was pregnant, my boob was burning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost got breast cancer, and this is like, you know, like I'm trying to figure it all out. Yeah. And so eventually, I'm like, Alisha, like I just tell myself, Alisha, you have to calm down, like mentally, because that's the only way your heart rate is gonna go. I do think like when you're in the hospital and people say like you have to fight for yourself, you really can. Like you have to, like, your mind has to change. Like, and I just started breathing. I was praying, and my heart rate was, my heart rate didn't come down out of the hundreds until like the third, fourth day, but it was coming down from 180. Yeah. And I could finally just like calm down and relax a little bit. And like, it's so funny, like they needed a urine sample, and they wanted me to just like on the bed, they put like a bucket underneath me, and I thought I peed, and I was like, it's all wet. And she was like, I was like, I definitely did pee. She was like, no, you didn't, it's empty. And I'm like, no, I definitely did, and it's all wet. And she was like, that's your sweat. The bed was soaked in sweat because I had a fever and all that type of stuff. And I'm just like, and then the nurses were so nice, but then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, they could be nice because you're dying. Like, they're trying to make your like last moments nice. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, and as a side note, like I did appreciate when I first got into the ER, like they purposely brought a black nurse in because they could tell I was fearful. Yeah. And like I did appreciate that because it was like, okay, they noticed. Yeah. We find out that I basically just I ended up having a kidney infection because of an untreated UTI. Okay. So, and then I was septic. And so septic is like you might die. If you don't if you're septic at home, and I think that's what happens to a lot of women. Like when we say like women die from being pregnant, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Not just like you're pregnant and you die. No, it's like different things. And if you don't go to the doctor, or in my case, if I didn't go to the emergency room because my doctor kept telling me that I was okay, I would have died. Right. Yeah. Because they kept telling me that I was okay. So, I'm in the hospital, whatever. So that was so different from my postpartum with Gabriella. And so that was all new, and it made me be like, I was like, this is it. I'm not having another kid. And it's not because I was pregnant, and it wasn't even the baby. It was just like the afterwards, because other than that, I'm a healthy, like the doctors come, you're so healthy, like how are you in this state? And I'm just like, and it's just like, when I was talking to my midwife, she's just like, the postpartum care for women is so non-existent. We care about the baby. Like, you have to go take the baby to the doctor either the next day or like 2 days. But the mom, you don't get seen until 6 weeks, until after you had the baby. So you're not seen in between that time. Yes, you can call, but I didn't know I had no symptoms of a UTI besides the shakes and shivers and all that type of stuff. And if you ask any other doctor, they'll say it sounded like you had an infection. How did that not, like, all the times that I called my doctor, how did that not pop up? Yeah. And it's like, why do I have to do all this research and tell you what is wrong? Like,
Right.
I thought you're not supposed to go on Google before you go to the doctor and figure out like what was, you know, and tell them what's wrong with you. So I think that was just like hard, and it made me realize like, this is how fast it can go. I
Yeah.
think when I was in the bed, I was like, it's over, and just that fast.
And I was gonna ask, like, how has that changed your perspective? Like going through that,
It
I know you
kinda
mentioned
changed
you
it,
might
but-
not want to have another kid. Like
Yeah.
that's scary.
Yeah.
And kudos to you. Like,
Yeah, it's
shout out to our moms, but because y'all go through a lot. But
yeah,
that's scary.
It's scary because I can tell my body is still recovering from a lot of from that. Like my gut is completely shot. Like there's certain things like I just feel like I'm allergic to now, like dairy and like all this type of stuff. Like I'm like feel sick, not like I have to go to the bathroom, but like sick.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the fear of leaving my kids. And like Gabriella's like, if I say like I have a headache, she's like, you gonna go to the hospital? I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna go to the hospital. But I can't, and now I don't want her to be fearful of like doctors and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know, it's really hard. And now it's like I do take going to the doctor a little bit more serious for those annuals and getting like stuff checked.
For sure.
Because you never know what could be wrong. And then it's like, but I also don't want to be fearful every day. Like,
Right.
my back hurts right now, and it's not because of, oh gosh, like, cause another thing was my back was hurting really bad, with this one spot, and they were like, that's a sign of a kidney infection because your kidney, and I'm like, well, I just had a baby, I'm nursing, like, yeah, my
Just
back,
regular,
I pushed the baby out, like my back should hurt, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, but so then it's like, oh no, like if I have this weird symptom, then I'm like, oh no, like this is wrong. I gotta go to the doctor, you know. So I'm trying not to be like too fearful, but just aware.
Yeah,
just
but it's
aware.
natural because I feel like just generally speaking about anxiety, like
yes, right.
if you get yourself riled up, honey, you gonna like. For me, I have anxiety, so if I feel something that's I've never felt before, I'm on Google. My mom's a nurse. Gina, what's going on? Like,
and then you don't realize it's really sometimes just your mind.
It's literally you. That's how powerful we are. It's crazy. We can go into that like for a very long time. So I think that's a lot to unpack, right? But what would you say like you've learned, I guess, just from that experience? Now you're a mother of two, like generally speaking.
Just
like,
motherhood.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I think for one is to be patient. Like it is a running like thing in our family that nobody is patient. And I feel like now I just have so much patience because it's not up to me. Like my days are not really like, they're controlled by a lot of different things. Like I can control them, like my kids, in a sense of like, we're gonna go do this at this time.
Right.
But initially you're still dealing with another human. Like we were going to Disney on Ice, and Gabriella did say she wanted to dress up as this one little Mirabelle from Encanto. But that morning she did not want to change her clothes. I'm not changing my clothes. And I'm just like, you know where we going.
Rest,
you know, like, but then it's just like, just be, and when you're patient and when you're calm,
they feed off of it.
And it's over with. And but as soon as you all riled up too, and then she's all, like, it's just like you have to be patient. And it's the same thing out in the world. If you come across like somebody who's all hot and bothered at the grocery store, but you're calm, it's not much that they can get out of you.
Right. Exactly.
So that's just the main thing. Like just like being calm and just like being chill is like, because I can be very dramatic. Like it's like I lost my dad when I was younger, and I have so many traumatic things happening in my life that where I could panic over a lot of different things. Like if Gabrielle is sick, this is new. Oh no, it's fine. We're gonna get it checked. Like it's all good. So that's the biggest thing and it has helped me in my personal life and be me myself is a better person, and I'm a better mom because I just calmed down. Way more.
Changing your approach to different things. Yeah, love that. So how was Disney on Ice?
It was good. I feel like it's just cool to see her go through like all these different things that I didn't get. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just nice to see. It's not that we couldn't afford, we probably couldn't, but it's just nice to see her experience all these things and see like the joy that comes with it. And it's nice because she's younger, she doesn't know what to expect. I feel
Right,
like when you get a little bit older, like we did take her to Disney young, but she don't know that like what's on the other side of the park.
Right.
When you get a little bit older, they're like, I want to go this, I want to go here. So it's just nice to see her just purely not have no clue what to expect and just get to enjoy it.
Yeah. Would you say taking her to Disney on Ice or just anything that, you know, like she may watch on TV, like seeing it in person, would you say that that heals your inner childhood?
Yeah, because my dad died when I was young, so I immediately had to grow up, and and not because my mom made me, it was just like naturally, and it's just like I get to be a kid. Like that was my first time seeing Disney on Ice, and I'm just like, this is so cool, like you know, and it's just the joy of it, and seeing things simple too. And it's like even like going to the park is, she loves it. Going to the pool, oh my goodness, we were at the pool every single day, and it's just like she just loves it. And it's just like so cool to see kids go through that stuff, because it's like you can't enjoy things the same anymore. Like I can't really enjoy like going to a concert the same that I did when I was younger, because I'm thinking about all these other different things. Right. And so it's fun to see her be a kid.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to move into what can the people expect for this upcoming season. So last season you talked to Brevin and Kayla.
Yeah.
And a few others.
Yeah. We cut the season short. And it wasn't intended to be like that. But but to go back, I'm just glad that we even started it, and I'm glad that we're back.
Yeah, same.
So we cut the season short. I was getting late in my pregnancy. Things got busy for Faith, the producer. So we just kind of just natural. It didn't even feel like dang. It just got a lot. And then it's just like I learned a lot from the first season. And I don't know, I just, as a creator, I like to have a lot of control, or I'm so used to having control. And this season, I'm like, I don't even need it. I don't want some of it. Take it.
Right.
Because it's like, when you're doing it, I just possibly can't make it happen if I'm gonna do certain things, and nobody's putting it on me to do it. It's just naturally, that's just how I am. Right. But I see that like I remember we were supposed to all meet on. I said I could do a Sunday. I'm so glad that day did not work out, because once it got to like 7 o'clock, I'm like, dang, I would be in a meeting right now, but there's like no way that I could have made that work. Right. So it's like seeing it like now, I'm just like, I have to be realistic with what I can actually do well too, and not just do it all. I learned that, and then just like all attention isn't good attention either, and just like sticking to the purpose of it. Like I feel like Faith and I had like a goal, or not even a goal, just like a vision of how we wanted it, and like we're authentic people. And I just want to keep it that way. Like, I just want it to be, like, what we intended to be, and let things come out of it that way. Don't, like, have, like, a plan for a certain X, Y, and Z. Oh, this is going to happen if we do it this way. You know what I mean? Not clickbait and all that type of stuff. I don't really care for that stuff, so I don't know why we would pretend like we do, or why we would care all of a sudden. So
yeah, no, I love that. I think letting things flow as they should. If it'll come, it's gonna come. If it don't, then that's fine. Planning does not always work out. Like I'm one who just okay, cool, let's do it.
And I'm just like glad that we are doing it. Like Jarrell always says, like, because I was nervous that we weren't going to be able to do this season because before I left, because it was just like, how can we make this work? And so it's just like, I'm just glad that I'm back here with doing it, because I think it's such a good thing. And I don't even like have it's not that I don't have high expectations, because wherever it takes me, it will take us like wherever. But it's just like, just doing it, showing up is the important part. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, sometimes it just takes showing up instead of like, you can have I got a whole lot of elaborate plans in my head. Like, I want to do a lot of stuff. And you realize you just got to start something.
Literally, just start. Like,
that's what, you don't need everything. Like, we did, when we first did the podcast, we had we had all the right tools for it.
Right.
But we had to show up.
Yeah. Right. Had to be here.
Yeah.
No, literally. Yeah. You got to show up. That's like the most important thing. And I feel like even when, this is generally speaking, even when you want to start something, write a book, start a podcast, whatever it may be, if you don't show up with what you have, then
Yes.
you're going to be waiting forever.
Yes.
Because
Literally.
these little phones, honey, the iPhone 15, like whatever,
Yes.
that is more than enough. Like you get your little
Literally.
tripod, that's all
Yeah.
you need. You don't really need much.
No, exactly.
And then for
yeah.
what comes from it, maybe if you do profit off of it, whatever, then you start investing
Right.
into your equipment.
Yes.
And now you got some more quality stuff. So
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
I think like people, the first season went so well, and people like, reaching out about how do we do this? How do we do that? And it's just like, it takes a lot of talent, but also it's like people don't realize like how much hard work goes into stuff nowadays. I think because we do see people, oh, you can be an influencer.
girl, bye. I don't want it.
Because it's like, and like the mom
a lot.
influencers, shout out to y'all. Because what am I gonna do? Like stop what I'm doing, set up my tripod. That's why if I do get mom content, it's usually just me. It ain't, my kids are probably not included, because how do you get them to sit still for that? Or
Right.
like, you gotta stop and move the tripod here, then move it here, and then remember to record that. Getting out the car, all that type of stuff, that's a lot. And I just like, it's way harder. That I have so much respect for people that do it, because it's
Girl,
not easy.
me
But
too.
people, just because a lot of people do it, people think it's like a piece of cake.
Yeah, it's as easy as pressing a button, girl.
Yeah.
I don't have it in me, because I will be the one who's like, okay, girl, like we're going to do a reel today. We're going to get a TikTok, get the people what they want. And as soon as I start my day, honey, I done forgot to hit record.
Yes. I was supposed to
went
do
and
one
made, I done
today.
got dressed. I done made breakfast, and now I can't go back. Like, I can't go back.
But I hate when I hate when I have a full day. Like I could have had the best content day in the world, and I ain't recording not one thing. Or I recorded.
Because it just goes by so fast.
No,
like
yes.
you have to really like plan it. Like you have to
Yes.
plan to think like,
Yes.
okay, let me prop this up. I don't have time for it. Then you got to get up extra early, girl.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all.
No, for real.
I ain't got it in me. We've gotten a little off topic, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back. What would you say that you learned from the first season that you maybe want to apply to this season?
Giving more control to other people. Yeah, like
Okay.
and like just, and I think like I don't want to be like I just don't want to be a one-man band. Like I don't want that, and I never did, but it's just like you realize you have to let go of some, and other people's ideas are fine. I usually do other people's idea regardless, so it's just like, not that I don't use my ideas too, but it's just like I do listen to people. So I think giving more control to people and not worrying, and sticking to our core, like being like a non-cut podcast. Like we're not cutting nothing.
Yeah. Raw and honest.
Yes.
Everything. Yeah.
Because I mean that's like the whole purpose of why I did it. And it's just like, I mean, if I say something, even if I make a mistake with saying something, like you did say it, and I'm choosing to say it in the mic. So I was just like, I have to accept that responsibility when I do it, and I want everybody to like uphold that.
Right.
So
Stand on it. Stand on it now.
Yeah.
What would you say was a highlight from last season that you?
Starting.
Yeah.
I feel like and like the love from it, or the support from it, and like the women reaching out, or even like the guys will hit up like, man, like it looked good. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like people were, and then just like you could tell that people were actually really watching it.
Yeah.
And even the analytics are great. Like people are really watching the whole thing, and that's like really dope to see. I just think it's like not shocking, but that's another thing. You just have to start something, because you never know that it could actually be like.
And
really
people
good.
are always watching.
Yeah.
People are always watching.
And you don't realize, and I don't know if if I ignore that, because people have, even before, because I like to say, oh, people are interested in my life because Jarrell, like when he first got drafted, playing in the NBA and stuff. Yeah. But people were interested in what I had to say before.
Yeah.
Before even Jarrell when I was at Winthrop and just talking about hip hop, people were interested. People didn't even know Jarrell in that realm because we didn't go to the same school. So it's just like, Yeah.
Oh my God, college,
Yeah.
the days. I don't want to get off topic, but y'all, we could go on forever.
Yes.
Let me just say this: when we were in college, like Alisha, you did your Hip Hop Makes Me Feel.
Yeah.
She packed out. When I
Yeah,
say
it's
packed out, them venues, they shaking their head back there. She packed out. Okay.
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
And,
It was so good too.
And you know what's so funny about that is because that's just another thing. One night I was like, I'm gonna just do this. I said, F it, I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and it did do so well. And you just never know. And I feel like I'm always trying to get back to that feeling. I've let that
Yeah.
part go a little bit of like trying to get back to that is feeling, and just doing stuff, because if you're always chasing that feeling, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it was gonna be like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you never know.
Yeah, you want it to be kind of like organic.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, that takes me back. I'm sorry. I want to touch on. Let me just say this too about Alisha. Alisha has been very supportive. Like when she was doing Hip Hop Makes Me Feel, you knew I wanted to be a host.
Yeah.
Honey, she brought me out to one of her events. I did the
Yep.
hosting in Colombia.
Yeah. And we
She
went
a real one.
and trying to get back to like all that too. And I saw a reel the other day. It was like point of view, like you are a mom and you used to love music, you listen to it all the time, and now it's overstimulating. And I felt so seen, because
Yeah.
it's so hard for me to listen to the music the same way that I used to. I
Yeah.
used to have music on my
All the
whole
time.
entire day.
Yeah.
And now it's like, turn it off. Because and now I listen to it in the car, and like I'm good, but it's just because so much is going on in your head, I
Yeah.
guess, that you just like music can be like,
A distraction?
yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I don't actually really know what it was. I thought like maybe I didn't like the work. I didn't know what it was, but now that makes so much more sense. I do feel like I'm overstimulated when I listen to music.
Well, okay, but because music has always been a thing for you.
Yeah.
It even started with your dad. So, like, would you say, like, you still have the passion for it? Or
Yes, I still
you
do.
just have
and
to navigate it because you're a mom now.
Yes, and
Okay.
and it's different too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I still like it the same. I'm still doing my own, like, I'm still trying to stay up to date, but I also can tell like music has changed so much too since
Right,
like,
that's true.
and I'm trying to like navigate it.
Has your taste in music changed since being
I think
a mother?
I'm in a different season.
Yeah. And the seasons change often or no?
I still like me and my girls had got back together after being like, it's been so long since we went out, and I could listen to like regular music that everyone
Yeah.
like, and it felt nice. But other than that, I'm like, there's a part of me that only listens to like Christian, like gospel, just because that's the encouragement that I need right now. Right.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and it's like, I need something that's gonna fill me right now. That's what it is. And I feel like certain songs, like I am a Rod Wave fan, but I can't really listen to his new album yet because I just like don't need that in
It's
me
gonna
yet.
put you in a different
I don't.
place.
Yeah, I don't need
Yeah.
that. And I never really understood what people meant when they said that, but now I do, because if I am gonna play some music, I need something that's gonna. Cause hip hop, when I was in college, hip hop made me feel like a boss. Like it made me feel like, well, you know, it gave me what I needed. Right
Yeah.
now, I need encouragement.
Right. I think that's just general too, like just with music. Like
Yeah.
we listen to what we are feeling at the
Yes,
moment.
heartbreak
you know?
songs, like
Like
yeah.
you gotta go turn up. I'm gonna, we might
Yeah.
play some Future, whoever, but like
Yeah, exactly. So in college, obviously, like the only thing I was worried about was like myself, basically, not
Yeah.
kids, not a husband, not like a house, like none of that stuff. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all. We keep getting off track,
No.
but it's okay. Okay, so let's get into what can the people expect with this new season.
Yeah, you know, I feel like still trying to navigate that myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like what you can definitely expect is just like realness, and like know that like each person that is on the show, or whoever touches the show in any way, like even in the behind the scenes, is like coming with like real authentic, like, and we thought things out. You know,
Yeah.
we're thinking about them when we're picking people, like what they can learn from it, like the viewers and stuff. So I just think like almost like care, like we care about the people that
Yeah.
are watching, and I think that that's
Intentional,
like very intentional this season. I thought we were doing that last season, and I think that we were.
Yeah.
I just think I hold myself to a certain standard, and I feel like I kind of strayed from that because at the core, I'm still a journalist too.
Right.
But I always been like more of a research journalist, not like a. That's why it was hard for me to break into news because I'm like, I don't want to. This is not real. Like, you know, like when you work for a certain network, you got to do these stories. Like, you can't report on this person because. You know, or you're going to talk about this product because that's who's paying for ads on the network. But anyways, just like staying to the core and just know that we're very intentional with what we put out there.
Yeah. I think that's a good word to use for season 2. Intentionality.
Yeah, I like that.
I am pretty much, I think we've covered enough.
Everything, yeah.
I think you guys have to stay tuned.
Yes.
And yeah, any advice for maybe anyone who wants to start a podcast or just start anything in general?
Yeah. I think just do it. And there's people say, oh, there's too many podcasts. Okay.
And?
You know, what if Beyonce said, it's too many singers?
Yeah.
Or I mean, like it's just like anybody. I'm trying to like, or even J. Cole because he started off so like he had to really fight to get into the door. Yeah. Like, what if he just said, "Oh, there's enough. There's enough rappers.
They don't need me. I'm good."
Yeah. And you just start. And I mean, I say that, and it's
easier said than done.
Yes, but it actually Yes, and having a team.
Yes.
That is a big thing too, because especially at our age, we're not old, but we have a lot of different things going on.
Life.
Right?
Yeah.
And so having a team is so important. Like I wouldn't be here without a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree.
And I think even this season, I feel like I noticed that even more from the first season. I'm like, we need to grow. Because I also see the needs of like everybody else too. And I don't want to I know how I feel. I feel like I need to give some control away. So I want to give other people the opportunity to give control away too. So having a bigger team and like, I don't know. Even talking about it makes me feel a little bit inspired to see where things can go. Because like, we have this perfect setup, so why stop?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think having a team, starting, right? Like I said, easier said than done because imposter syndrome, like there's a lot that goes into it. And then your mentality, like I don't know if you remember, but I did like the kicking it with Karina thing during COVID. Girl, when I tell you, I was like mannequin challenge. I was like froze, girl. I wasn't doing nothing. And I remember posting it, like, I'm going to do this, I'm doing the interviews, expect X, Y, and Z, and I turned my phone off. I didn't want to see the love. Like, I was, like, frozen, but I'm glad I did it. It was definitely a journey. I enjoyed it. And then to add to just having a team, I want to say this because I feel like when you like connect with people who are on your level, you know how they say like connect horizontally, not like vertically. There are other people around you who have these gifts. Like we have Faith, we have Deja. Like they're all working, but they excel in this area. So why not add them to your team? So it just makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, and I think and for people out there, not to be scared to put yourself out there. Like I feel like to be honest, like we are looking for more people, and I feel like people are like. And I'm like, girl, do you know that this is very simple behind the scenes? I mean, it's not simple, but we all working towards something. Yeah. And I feel like we are all girls right now, but we're such a supportive group of, we hold each other to a standard, but we are also very realistic.
Right. Yeah.
And I want people who want to have something on their resume.
Yeah, to add to,
yes. Yeah. And that's like the biggest thing. Like, if it's successful, if I gave you the opportunity to be on here and it blows up and you were on the team when you didn't have certain skills, but now you have these skills, look where you could go.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, just doing it.
Yeah, don't be
scared. And not being scared.
Easier
said than done, but
easier said than done for sure. But I feel like when you just kind of get rid of the care of what other people think or say. Yes. After that, it's so freeing. Like yes. If I really wanted to say, if I said what I wanted to say, like cursing. Yeah. Then it's so freeing on the other side of just not giving an F anymore. I promise you. Yeah. I'm one who thinks deeply. I analyze. Like I'm always like, I don't want nobody to think, girl. Yeah. I don't care. And that was me, and that is me still to this day because I'm also like,
I don't want to look like I'm bragging about things.
Yeah.
But I you know, sometimes I just like to post like what I what I have on or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, oh, somebody might, like I have a like to know it.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, you can make money from that, but it's like, like you got to be steady. But I'm like, I actually don't know if I like people knowing how much I pay for something.
Yeah.
And then going back and be like, ooh, she paid this much for that.
Yeah, but I think with that though, even it doesn't.
But then it's like everybody's doing
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it comes with it. There's going to be somebody who
Yes,
thinks
exactly. And I had to get over
like
that.
what we think, like, oh, what if they think this? It's somebody gonna think it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, but
that's true. That's true.
Just really
and it's just like everybody will take it differently, and everybody also spends their money different ways. And I had to take it like that too. Like somebody who, you know, may make less, or they may be buying all the designer, and people might expect that from me, but I'm not. And it's just like, you know, I just like have to get over what people will think, or because you don't know, and there's probably a thought, like there's probably people thinking things that I'm not even thinking about.
That's
and that's
true
what, a lot
too.
of times
That's
what
very
it is
true.
too, because the feedback that I get, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
like you're really like, you got it like that, and I didn't intend for it to be. You can never, whenever you put something out in the world, you can never control how it's perceived or, you know, how people will take it. And more often than not, it's been totally positive.
Yeah, and I think too, when you just show up as yourself, like if you know you start with pure intention, if they take it that way, you really have no control over that, right? As long as it starts. And I'm
comfortable with, and that's the same thing with the content that I decide to like do for Instagram and like TikTok and all that stuff. Is like it's completely like what I want, not because I can make money off of it. I'm not posting a product because I'm getting paid to post it. Like it's being pure like intentional. Yeah. So I know that like I can sleep well at night knowing like I didn't post that because I know that that's what they want to see.
Right. Yeah. Do it for you. It starts with us. Starts with us, guys. I think that's it. I think we've given
wrap it up.
Okay, this is what you can expect. Like, this is a good conversation, girl.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
I know. And you probably see more of Karina this season. Yes. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Thank you. And make sure you can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Yeah. I'm probably forgetting something, but that's it. All right. Peace out.
Finally got that inner peace that I've been out here trying to find out. Gone. You know?